I'd like to call a special meeting of council to order Monday, June 13th, 2022. Approval of the agenda, please. Councillor Norbury.
That the June 13th, 2022 special council meeting agenda be adopted as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski. All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone or Zoom? Carried. Thank you. Item 3.1, 2022 Statement of Financial Information Report. Report from the Director of Finance dated June 13th, 2022 to provide an administrative report on the 2021 Statement of Financial Information, SOFI, for council information. Recommendation, please. Councillor Kurkalka.
The council approves the 2021 Statement of Financial Information schedules.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski. Discussion. Ms. Torval, I did have a question in regards to total wages and compensation. I was trying to find the email that Ms. Tegarty sent us with the last 3 years of district wages. And as per the SOFI for 2021, it shows 5.173 for total wages and benefits. And I'm just wondering how that compares to the numbers that we were presented during budget time for the previous 3 years, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I will ask Ms. Tegarty. Just to try to understand the question.
So we had a question by email, I believe, in regards to the previous 3 years of total district wages and benefits. And it went from 2019, it was like 4.5 to 2022 budget of 6.5. And I'm trying to remember what the 2021 numbers were. And I believe that this number in the SOFI report is lower than what you had presented to council previously. So I was just curious if there was a discrepancy there.
I don't think there was, so it would be, obviously I wouldn't have that in front of me.
Sure, sure.
I could take a look at that for you.
Yeah, I can follow up with you
Yeah,
after,
for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. The actually, Mayor Bertrand, there was a second email that got sent out.
Yes,
So
with
I
a
wonder if
correction.
it's related to that when I presented with the budget those figures. Then I sent another email confirming there'd been an error made on the amount that I gave you. So I can
Yeah,
give that information to Mr.
it just for or just for council's information, it just curious if there was a discrepancy is all.
Yeah.
Councillor Kurkalka.
Yes, so I pulled the email up, 2021 on the email we were sent April 11th, says 5.886505.
5.8, so yeah,
Yeah,
there was,
2020, it says 5173102.
that's what this is, isn't it?
This is 2021, so I'm not sure. The same question I had in regards to, that's why I saved my email. So 2020 wages in the email we received was 5.1. 2021 shows 5.8.
Okay,
So I don't know if the confusion's between, here's the 5.173. Yeah, yes, so that's what happened. When I sent the first email out, I got the years were wrong, so then I sent another email confirming
okay,
the 2020 was the 2021.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Any other comments or questions in regards to the SOFI report? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone or Zoom? Carried. Thank you. 3.2. TRCC ammonia upgrade and recovery, heat recovery relocation. Report from the Director of Human Resources and Community dated June 13th, 2022, to request additional funds to relocate the heat recovery system to an appropriate location that will not compromise existing facility boiler systems. Recommendation, please. Councillor Kurkalka.
The council approves unbudgeted funds in the amount of $59,465 to relocate the heat recovery system.
Seconder. Councillor Majinski, discussion? Councillor Norbury?
I did just have a question in regards to us realizing this. Like, I have no issues with spending the money. The rationale makes sense. It was originally thought it needed to be in one space. No, that's not going to work. We need to move it. Sometimes in cases like this, if we have a contractor that came up with this plan, we could potentially say to them, split the cost with them. Is that an opportunity with this, or yeah?
Ms. Torval?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't think it was, because it was anticipated that this would go into the existing room where the recovery system is.
But was it part of the original plan by the contractor to put it into the boiler room, or was that our plan? Ms. Torval?
Yes, so this report was to go to council at the last meeting, but we held it back because we wanted to explore a little bit further on the costs. And so it would have been substantially more, but the district has staff are doing a lot of the actual tear down and the renovation work for it to be relocated. It was not part of it was part of the discussion previously, but it was not decided on. And then when we started considering the size of the equipment that had to go in that room, and it just wasn't possible for heat recovery. And so we are slated to save a lot of money by doing it this way. If we were to do it the existing way, we would have to rent outside, and there's things that we would have, we just didn't have the structural and the capacity to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, and I apologize. I was not looking for someone to blame. I just wondered if there was sometimes in previous we were able to get some cost recovery from stuff like this, but rationale in the report makes a lot of sense. Yep, you got to do it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkhalka?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. So I had the same question. I'm not sure if we really got an answer to it. I'm assuming when this job was looked at and sent out for an RFP and all that, and the contractor come forward and came in and probably did an overview of our community center to see what needed to be done, where things would be placed. My question will be direct. Did the contractor give drawings that it would fit in the existing boiler room previous to this report coming before council?
Ms. Torval?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I do not know personally whether there were drawings. I didn't see the drawings. This project has been on the go since last year, so I don't know. I don't know if Ms. Notley is aware of the situation. Ms. Notley?
Thank you. I have become only aware of this since March. Prior to that, it was we had another project manager who's no longer here, and so we are picking up some of the pieces and getting some understanding. And again, we did delay. CEO and I had discussed this previously. Delayed presenting it until we got some more information, because we were thinking it must not cost $60,000 to relocate to this room. And so we went back to the contractor, ensuring that this does cost us much money with the district's help in doing it. And again, there is some confusion about whether we should have known this in the beginning. But along the way, again, with the heat recovery report that came last week, these things were not necessarily anticipated in the very beginning.
And so is there a set of drawings for this job? Ms. Torval?
I am not aware.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkhalka?
Yeah, so was this question not directed back to the contractor that took on the quote in 2021? So the refrigeration company was awarded in 2021 with the total cost, including whatever the management of the project and stuff. So again, my concern is, did we ask them at first, did you guys think it was going to go in there, or was that from our staff side? So I have a concern that if my understanding, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, everybody runs different, but they come in, they do an overview of the whole building, and they understand what they're going to need on site, what they don't need on site, and where stuff is going to be located. So, like Councilor Norbury says, it's something that we can go back and say, well, you guys figured it was going to go there without the extra cost of fans and exhausts and this, and then more possible damage to our other infrastructure that's in there if it goes in due to the heat that's increased. But would we not have that information? Like, that's my concern. I read the report, I understand exactly why we'd want to move it, but again, I just want to know if the contractor could come in and they figured it would go there, and now it won't because they didn't realize something. Again, we sent out RFPs and all that and get the total amount. To me, that's what we should be trying to stick to in regards, because again, unbudgeted funds.
Ms. Torval?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This came as this particular situation came through a change order request from the contractor. Do you know how long ago? It's not about 6 weeks ago, so.
Okay, thank you. So change order request means that it was planned for by the contractor then, I believe, Ms. Torval?
Not necessarily, no, well, 6 weeks ago after the fact.
Okay. This is the second change order we've seen on this one. Is there any more coming?
Not that we're aware of. We need this one to finish her off so we can get the ice up for August.
And there's no other areas where we're going to be opening up that we could see potential changes?
But all the opening up has been done.
Excellent. Okay, that's good. Any other questions, comments? Councillor Kirkowka?
So I'm not trying to delay the concept of moving to the area that staff's recommended or the contractor has. But again, I have another concern. I wasn't at the previous meeting. I apologize, council and staff, but another change request. So my thing is, normally when they come in, they do an overview, they know exactly what they're gonna need, where it's gonna go, and the reason why it's going there. So again, if this is the contractor, that's a question I'd like to have answered. I'm not putting it on staff, unsure, or unaware for sure, it was brought forward 6 weeks ago. But again, was this in their drawings that it was gonna go there? And then they realized, oh geez, we messed up. Like, again, like why should the taxpayers of Tunbridge fork out $59,465 for this move? I'm not sure, I can't remember, I didn't bring my agenda from a meeting I couldn't attend, but there was a huge amount there as well.
60,000, yep.
So that council probably approved is my guess, so, you know, it's $120,000 over budget. So, again, I mean, I understand from staff side, but again, that's a question that needs to be answered. If the contractors come in, they go into our buildings, yep, no problem, this is gonna work, here's our quote, and now we're gonna go over budget 120 grand in one project. And we say that time and time again in this, up here, how we go over budget on every project we're doing. So that's my concern.
Very much so. Ms. Torval?
We did receive grant funding for this. It is a large project. It's costed at $1.9 million. Sometimes these things are unforeseeable, that these situations, issues come up. So.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Councillor Majinski?
Thank you, Mayor. This was grant dependent, so it is covered, but all the excess is coming from our taxpayers. So maybe we should ask contractor, was this in your plans? And what has changed? And why are we having to come up with that funds and not them? Are we going to get reimbursement for our staff wages that are contributing to this project? We shouldn't even be having our staff doing this project.
Ms. Torval?
Thank you. We could go back to the contractor, I suppose, and they could, I mean, you don't have to approve this tonight. We can put it in the original place as was, that we thought it was going in, but you know, there's no guarantee on the integrity of the system. And yeah, so it's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I guess the question is really, are we responsible for this, or is the contractor responsible for it? I mean, when you put an RFP out, it usually includes every possible scenario, including in contingency as well. So I understand the hesitancy on council's side as far as approving this when we don't have information in regards to the contractor providing this quote. You know, we certainly understand the rationale behind it, but was it our idea to put it in the boiler room, or was it their idea? Ms. Torval?
It was the contractor's idea.
Contractors. Thank you. Councillor Howell?
Isn't this stuff that was discovered after, like, isn't this outside of what was requested? They discovered this when they got working on the upgrade?
I believe that was last week's with the piping, when they opened up the piping and discovered that the corrosion and the condition of that. I'm not sure about this one, Ms. Torval.
Sorry, Mayor, Council, this was discovered at the same time. It's just that we were waiting to kind of negotiate with the contractors to get, and for costing, to make sure that, you know, we didn't, wasn't going to incur as much cost as this. We just wanted to double check with them. So yeah, these were discovered at the same time as the other issue.
Okay.
Just delayed in bringing it to council.
Okay. Follow up, Councillor Howell?
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkowka?
So discovered at the same time, and our staff side waiting to get the proper quote in. But again, my question back is, did the contractor pick the location of this system to be where it was supposed to go, and now they're asking for it to be changed? That is my concern, that they came in and did an overview of our community center. Yeah, it's gonna work in this place, quoted the job, and now we're saying, geez, if we put it in there, we're gonna have to get fans to keep everything cool. That is my concern. I understand when I read the report for last week's meeting as well that I couldn't attend, and I see that we open up something and you see the corrosion, that's locked up. But if the contractor came in and did an overview of the community center and said that the equipment would fit into the boiler room, and now we're saying, well, if we put it in there, there's a chance of the heat and this and that. My understanding is, why wouldn't they already know that? That would be, I understand, we're asking staff the questions that is actually not theirs, it's the contractor, and I totally get that part. But that's my concern. Contractor comes in, looks at your building, gives a proposal back to whoever, yeah, it's gonna fit here, they go and do their own drawings, whatever they do, and now they're saying, oh, now if we put it in there, it's gonna could cost you more money, because now you're gonna have to put in different venting, cooling fans, all this stuff. Well, if the 60 grand is because they picked the wrong location, is there anything that they can assist the taxpayers with until bridge instead of the taxpayers forking out 60 grand? Last week's meeting to me is, or the last week's project is totally different. You open up a pipe, look in there, ooh, geez, this is the time to change it because it's corrosion. Wouldn't know that. My understanding, somebody would have been on site, looked through our building, say it can fit there, and now they're saying, no, for 60 grand, it's better to put it over here because you won't have to put cooling fans in. They should already know that. I have a heat reclaim in my building. I'm sorry, I understand that whole concept. So to me, they should have been aware of that. I mean, this is definitely their forte. Simco refrigeration, that's their forte. So that's my concern there. Staff can't answer, that's understandable, because I don't think it's a staff question, but that's my concern. You know, 60 grand today, now next month they come forward, they have to make some other changes, another 60 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand. We're already over budget, $120,000. To me, the $60,000 is last week's vote. Makes sense. That's our equipment. You find erosion. Well, let's get it done. This to me is totally different concept.
I agree, and you know, part of the original quote should have included the fans and the heat reallocation within that boiler system if they wanted it in there. So I'm having a hard time with this one as well. I think some of those questions need to be asked of the contractor, whether or not we can split this cost, or if they are responsible for it as per the RFP. I'm thinking a motion to defer possibly. Is this a time-sensitive issue, Ms. Torval? Okay, Councillor Kirkowka, did you have something? Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. So I was the first one to bring this up. So at the end of the day, right, like I'm sure they can just put it in there. And that's if we don't agree to this now, they'd say, okay, we'll put it in there. And we told you what could go wrong. And you know, the life expectancy of this infrastructure goes in there and then it dies 5-10 years earlier than it should because we have contaminated air. Like, yeah, I would like to see any way we can split the cost, but at the end of the day, staff is telling us we might not get ice in August. sometimes when these things come up, there's unintended issues.
For
right?
sure.
And at the end of the day, I'm okay with this. Because yeah, it's a small overage in a $1.9 million project. I'd like to see some, back and forth. But at the end of the day, we're time sensitive. So
Yeah. Change orders aren't uncommon, definitely. Especially in the case of last week with discovering the pipes. But this one, I believe, is a different type of a change order. I think this was a mistake that trying to correct. So. Any other comments, questions? Councillor Majinski?
Mayor, if the engineered drawings state that it's supposed to go in that room, and now they're saying that everything in that room has to be removed, and the cost is on us, they should have that factored into their quote in the first place, so I think those costs should be on them. If they have to relocate stuff that was already existing in that room.
Well, not even positive that there is drawings at this point.
So with a $1.9 million project, there should be engineered drawings for that. So we should maybe be asking them for that and more clarity from them, not from our staff, because this isn't a staff fault, this is a contractor fault. And maybe they should be the one coming with a report stating why. And we would like to see their engineered drawings for this as well. Timestamp.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Torval.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Taggart just informed me that the heat recovery system, if we relocate it to the place that they're suggesting, will give us like a savings of $50,000 a year.
In natural gas and electric by using the heat pump as well, yeah. Yeah, there definitely will be savings realized with this system, most definitely. Any other comments, questions? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone?
In favor?
Carried, thank you. Question and answer period. Ms. Torval, did you receive anything?
No, I haven't.
Okay, thank you. Resolution to closed. I'd like to move that the meeting of the District of Tumbler Ridge scheduled for May 2nd, 2022 be closed pursuant to the Community Charter Provision Section 91C, K, and J. I think that should be June 13th instead of May 22nd or 2nd. Section 91C, K, and J. C is labor relations or other employee relations. J is information that is prohibited or information that if it were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And K is negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that in the view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in. Seconder, Councilor Krakalka. All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone or Zoom? Carried, thank you. 10-minute recess, please.